What's up, Razorback fans? I'm Emory Hall Jr., and you're watching Hog Heaven Sports. Today, we'll be doing a preview and prediction show of the Arkansas Razorbacks versus the Georgia Bulldogs. The Arkansas Razorbacks went from number 16 in the nation to number 8 in the nation after beating number 7 Texas A&M. I must admit, this game this past weekend against Texas A&M was the most electric environment I've ever been around. It was my first Razorback game in person, and I felt like I've been going to these games all of my life in person after this game. And I must admit, I will be going back to more games throughout the season. But without further ado, let's jump into this video about the number 2 Georgia Bulldogs at home versus the number 8 Arkansas Razorbacks. Now, let's jump into some of the team stats from both of these squads facing up this weekend. Number 8, Arkansas. They have 876 passing yards to go along with 1,132 rushing yards, giving them a total of 2,008 total yards on offense. The offensive line has been pretty good all season, giving up 1 sack per game, which gives them a total of 4 sacks for the entire season. On defense for the Razorbacks, they have a total yards given up of 1,069 yards and have forced 10 sacks on the season to go along with 4 interceptions from the secondary. And number 2, Georgia. Coming into this game, they have 1,109 passing yards, 709 rushing yards, giving them a total of 1,818 yards this season. They've only given up 2 sacks this season, which gives them a great rating for the offensive line this year. On defense for the Georgia Bulldogs, they have given up only 741 yards total, which is insane, and 14 sacks forced for their defense to go along with 7 interceptions from their secondary. Let's jump into some of the serious history between these two squads. The first game ever played between these two teams was on January 1st, 1969 in the Sugar Bowl. The series record lead goes to Georgia, with them having an impressive 11-4 lead over Arkansas. In the last 10 games of the series, hasn't looked very good at all, giving the Georgia a 8-2 lead over the Arkansas Razorbacks in the last 10 games. Next is the Hogs versus Y'all section of the show. This is a position by position breakdown of these two squads, with me giving stats and breakdowns of each player in these positions. First is the quarterbacks. On Arkansas side, you have number 1, KJ Jefferson. He is 46 out of 78 with 844 yards passing, with 6 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. That'll give him a completion percentage of 59% with a QB efficiency rating of 170. On the ground, he has 32 attempts rushing with 253 yards and 2 touchdowns. On Georgia's side, you have number 18, JT Daniels. He is 54 out of 71 for 567 yards passing with 5 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. That'll give him a completion percentage of 72% with a QB efficiency rating of 160.7. On the ground, he is not as elite as KJ Jefferson. He is a pocket passer, only giving him 3 attempts for negative 15 yards with no touchdowns. Now, let's take a look at the running backs for these two squads. On Arkansas, you have number 22, Traylon Smith, as the leader. He has 59 carries for 308 yards and 3 touchdowns. That'll give him a yards per carry average of 5.1 yards per carry and 74.5 yards a game. Number 5, Raheem Rocket Sanders. He has 31 carries for 166 yards and 2 touchdowns. That'll give him a 5.3 yards per carry average and a yards per game average of 41 yards a game. And number 20, Dominique Johnson. He has 21 carries for 157 yards and 3 touchdowns. That'll give him a yards per carry average of 7.2 yards a carry, leading the team and 37.8 yards per game. On Georgia side, you have number 28, Zamir White. He has 37 carries for 208 yards with 2 touchdowns. That'll give him a yards per carry average of 5.6 yards and 51.7 yards per game. And number 4, James Cook. He has 22 carries for 128 yards and 2 touchdowns. That'll give him a 5.6 yards per carry average and bringing home 30.7 yards per game. Next are the wide receivers. On Arkansas side, you have number 16, Treylon Burks, as the leader. He has 19 receptions for 373 yards and 2 touchdowns. And next on Arkansas side, you have number 19, Tyson Morris. He has 7 receptions for 169 yards to go along with 2 touchdowns on the season. For Georgia side, you have number 7, Jermaine Burton, as the leader. He has 12 receptions for 219 yards to go along with 2 touchdowns. And number 2 on Georgia side, you have number 5, Adonai Mitchell. He has 9 receptions for 157 yards to go along with 1 touchdown on the season. Now we have the tight ends. On Arkansas side, you have number 18, Blake Kern. He has 4 receptions on the season for 43 yards. No touchdowns, giving him a 10.3 yards per catch average for the season. And on Georgia side, you have number 19, Brock Bowers. He has 18 receptions for 272 yards with 4 touchdowns, giving him a 15.1 yards per catch average on the season. Next up are the offensive lines for these 2 squads. On Arkansas side, they have only given up 4 sacks on the season with 876 yards passing and 1,132 yards rushing on the season, compared to Georgia giving up 2 sacks so far on the season with 1,109 yards passing with 709 yards rushing. I honestly think that this is where the battle and the game will be won, between Arkansas's offensive line and Georgia's defensive line, and Georgia's offensive line going against Arkansas's defensive line. That is the matchup to watch during this game. Now let's take a look at some of the sack leaders from these 2 squads on the defensive lines. On Arkansas side, you have number 55, Trey Williams, with 10 tackles and 4 sacks. Number 56, Zach Williams, with 11 tackles and 1.5 sacks. And number 99, John Ridgeway III, with 11 tackles with 1 sack on the season. And on Georgia side, you have number 99, Jordan Davis, with 8 tackles with 1.5 sacks. Number 88, Jaden Carter, with 8 tackles with 1 sack. And number 78, Nazir Stackhouse, with 4 tackles with 1 sack on the season. Next up are the linebackers. On Arkansas, you have number 10, Bumper Pool, with 38 tackles and 3 tackles for a loss. Number 27, Hayden Henry, with 31 tackles and 5.5 tackles for a loss. And number 31, Grant Morgan, with 25 tackles and 3.5 tackles for a loss. On Georgia side, you have number 19, Adam Anderson. He has 12 tackles, 3 tackles for a loss, and 3 sacks. Number 41, Channing Tyndall, with 19 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, and 1 sack. And number 17, Nakobe Dean, with 14 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, and 2 sacks on the season. Last but certainly not least, we have the secondaries for these 2 squads. On Arkansas side, you have number 1, Jalen Catalon, as the leader. He has 30 tackles, 8 pass breakups, and 2 interceptions. Number 9, Greg Brooks Jr. He has 15 tackles, 2.5 tackles for a loss, and no interceptions. Number 21, Montaric Brown. He has 15 tackles, 2 pass breakups to go along with 2 interceptions. And on Georgia side, you have number 16, Lewis Cine. He has 19 tackles, 4 pass breakups, and 1 interception. Number 36, Latavius Brini with 14 tackles, 3 pass breakups, and no interceptions. And number 29, Christopher Smith with 5 tackles, 1 pass breakups, and the team leading 2 interceptions on the season. Say, man, like Chris Stapleton said in this song, gotta get down to Arkansas. And let me tell you, the Arkansas Razorbacks went off this win. You're going to see a lot of crazy stuff happening in the state of Arkansas. People are going to go crazy if you ain't seen them go crazy already. Example, the Texas game. But anyways, I'm picking my Razorbacks to win this game. You know what I'm saying? Without a doubt, mainly because the defense is elite. We seen last year that they were on the way to being elite, but this year they are definitely elite and one of the best defenses in the nation. It's all on KJ Jefferson. If he is utilizing his feet this game and making them pay with the deep ball like he did in Texas A&M and in Texas and against Georgia Southern, there's no way you can beat us. On the road, neutral site game, or at home, it really doesn't even matter because Arkansas has been down too long. We've been suffering too long, and the way these guys are just hungry just to make these analysts and everybody else just pay for the words. Every time you choose Arkansas to lose, they're going to show you why you should pick Arkansas to win. So with that being said, Arkansas winning 16-13 over the number 2 Georgia Bulldogs. I want to thank you all for taking the time out to watch this video today. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and you'll definitely see more content for your Arkansas Razorbacks and more content coming from Hog Heaven Sports. I want you guys to have a great day, stay blessed, and be safe.